approximately 125 practices in 6 countries, covering about 225 doors, generate primarily implant and cosmetic revenue. It's one of the areas that a lot of dentists and prosthodontists and multi-location organizations want to grow their top line revenue, and we help them with that. Our philosophy has always been to go an inch wide and a mile deep in dentistry. So we've really honed in on the implant and cosmetic side. I've seen a few of our practices take their revenue to stratospheric levels and actually sold their practices to bigger organizations, bigger DSOs. So we're quite proud of that. And what we're looking to do is to talk to multi-location practices, individual shops. We're even talking to some dental manufacturers and DSOs as well about what we can do implementing our Denteza platform.
That's amazing, Dwight. Going back to 2016, how did you get into this? What brought you? What was
Yeah.
the spark moment?
Well, I talked about, they always talk about your Batman origin story, and ours comes from the world of mobile. My business partner, Shamil Radia, and I met at a national wireless company in Canada called Rogers, and we were in that business space. We moved on. Shamil moved on to IBM in web security, and then I moved on and started my own company, Zezel.com, which helped companies around the world and organizations around the world secure their mobile devices. We built that up to 1,000 clients in 23 countries. So we were quite successful in taking our mobile experiences and moving it into the next phase of our careers. And then about, even before we formed Denteza, about 2013, 14, Shamil came to me and said, what do you think about us doing a digital marketing agency? And I had done a lot of work in that space, growing Zezel, and I was involved with another agency, and he'd seen what we'd done, and so I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" There was things were changing in the industry that I was in, so we decided to do it. Now, how we picked dentistry was really interesting. We basically sat down with one of our consultants and figured out that we looked through all the industry codes and we said, which one could we reach, which industry professionals could we reach and offer them something that was of value directly. And we wound up on dentists and dentistry. We didn't come from a dentistry background, so we started that way. Now, because we didn't know.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode 1753.5 of DentMed. Thank you so much for joining, Dwight. We got the one and only Dwight Brown. He's actually doctor. Again, it's two Canadians versus one you.
No,
Every
I don't
time
know
on the
what's going
podcast,
on.
I'm the only guy here. That's from Canada.
Yesterday, now today, what's going on?
Yeah, the page is flipping. See, it's a small
The page
world.
is flipping.
So, Dwight, thank you so much for joining the call. Dwight is the founder and CEO of Denteza. They help dental practices with their marketing needs and pretty much everything that goes about new patient acquisition. Dwight, thank you so much. Please introduce yourself to our audience and let's get it started.
Great. Well, thank you, Masood. Yes, my name is Dwight Brown. As Masood mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Denteza. We're a 10-year-old company that over the last, going back to 2016, we've helped approximately 125 practices in 6 countries, covering about 225 doors, generate primarily implant and cosmetic revenue. It's one of the areas that a lot of dentists and prosthodontists and multi-location organizations want to grow their top line revenue, and we help them with that. Our philosophy has always been to go an inch wide and a mile deep in dentistry. So we've really honed in on the implant and cosmetic side. I've seen a few of our practices take their revenue to stratospheric levels and actually sold their practices to bigger organizations, bigger DSOs. So we're quite proud of that. And what we're looking to do is to talk to multi-location practices, individual shops. We're even talking to some dental manufacturers and DSOs as well about what we can do implementing our Denteza platform.
That's amazing, Dwight. Going back to 2016, how did you get into this? What brought you? What was the spark moment?
Well, I talked about, they always talk about your Batman origin story, and ours comes from the world of mobile. My business partner, Shamil Radia, and I met at a national wireless company in Canada called Rogers, and we were in that business space. We moved on. Shamil moved on to IBM in web security, and then I moved on and started my own company, Zezel.com, which helped companies around the world and organizations around the world secure their mobile devices. We built that up to 1,000 clients in 23 countries. So we were quite successful in taking our mobile experiences and moving it into the next phase of our careers. And then even before we formed Denteza, about 2013, 14, Shamil came to me and said, what do you think about us doing a digital marketing agency? And I had done a lot of work in that space, growing Zezel, and I was involved with another agency, and he'd seen what we'd done, and so I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" There was things were changing in the industry that I was in, so we decided to do it. Now, how we picked dentistry was really interesting. We basically sat down with one of our consultants and figured out that we looked through all the industry codes and we said, which one could we reach? Which industry professionals could we reach and offer them something that was of value directly? And we wound up on dentists and dentistry. We didn't come from a dentistry background. So we started that way. Now, because we didn't know the industry, we brought on some consultants. Some of them are still around today to help us understand the dental industry. And how our business works is Shamil is more the CCO, the Chief Client Officer. He's really attuned to what the clients need. He understands our platform, the metrics on our advertising, some of the things that a lot of the things that really go into driving revenue and increasing the value of your practice. And I'm more on the operational side, looking at the business side. So that's how we work as a 1-2 punch in the company.
That is amazing. Mr. Dwight, as far as from a clinical perspective, when you guys are onboarding these practices, what data do you guys look at in order for you to see if that practice is kind of suitable for what you guys want to market around? Because there are dentists that I know that do implant, but they don't even have the proper systems in place. So how are you helping them from that perspective?
Well, we've learned that lesson going back to when we first started. We brought on pretty well anyone and everyone. One of the things we've seen over the years is that usually at a certain level of revenue, practices put in things in place that would make Denteza more sticky. And because you need to have a good front desk. Now, with I'll talk about it a little bit later, but our work in AI since 2017 is helping a lot of dentists with some of their staffing issues, especially as it pertains to what we do, which is we bring qualified opportunities, implant, cosmetic, bridges, crowns, veneers to a dental practice. And then we also nurture them through our CRM that we developed. But really, at the end of the day, when I look at the core metrics of what kind of practice would work, they usually have to be at a revenue threshold of about $1.5 million. And the reason why I use that number is because you can't get to $1.5 million without having some infrastructure in place, the right people in place to handle the kind of volume of activity that we're going to bring in. So that's our first thing. We never really know how the practice is going to react to the stream of opportunities, because what we do is we don't just generate leads, we generate consultation requests. So it's not just name, phone number, email address. It's name, phone number, email address. What time would you like to come in? What's your issue? How's it making you feel? What are you looking for in your dental professional? Are you looking for financing? Are you looking to come in are you looking to do this right now? That kind of thing. So we have 13 points of data that we give every dental office when someone fills out a consultation form, which is very powerful, because one of the things that Shamil stresses is that where you're going to help people and where you're going to win is when you match empathy with technology. You really need to empathize genuinely with the person who has that issue. And if you've I've looked at some of the consultation requests and how people are afraid to smile because they're missing a tooth. They're embarrassed at work. They're going to some kind of work event and they really are conscious about their smile. These are not just physical pain points with dentistry, but psychological pain points. So our platform helps tap into just not the demographics, because we do target certain people within a marketplace, but the psychographics of the individual as far as people who are in pain. And the pain can be physical or emotional. And we help them, and we also help the dentist find those types of patients to help.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, the fact that you guys are able to bridge that gap, because I think that's one of the important part of the whole thing is that bridging that gap and really understanding where things are at. I think that's very important because I think a lot of time is like connecting with that patient becomes the difficult task even for us as a dentist to really know where we need, because the education part of it becomes important. So the one thing that I wanted to ask is that how have you guys been able to position yourself so that the patient is somewhat educated about what they need before they come in? Because that's how you really are able to track those people.
Yeah, and well, how our platform works is we primarily use the Google network, and what we do is we take display ads and video, educational video, and put them on authority websites, CNN, CBC, the Weather Network, places where people in the right demographic that we're looking for, 45 years and up, certain income levels, where they're going to be on. And then from there, we have information where they go to a landing page. The only thing they can do when they get to the landing page of the dentist is to fill out a form for a free consult, not a free consultation, a free guide. And what we do is, again, we start with the educational process. So once they've given name, phone number, email address, we send them a free guide. That information is now put into the system. That also begins a 30-day email drip campaign. In addition, our system will also fire out an SMS welcoming them, thanking them for downloading the free guide. There's also a video of the dentist welcoming them, so they get a sense of the practice. The practice can show its best, put its best foot forward. And then we go through that educational process. Now, in that guide, it explains some of the procedures, or whether it's all on four or a single implant, but it encourages them to fill out the form, click a link, fill out the form for a consultation. So that's the next step. That's the 13 points of information that goes into the CRM. And then from there, whether we have our AI receptionist that we've set up for the dentist, call them back as a first level of reaching out to them, or they want to have their real live front desk or treatment coordinator. We've set that up. We could set that up either way. And AI is not new to us. I've been developing and working on that since 2017. It started with chatbots on websites. We've gotten Canadian government SHRED credits, which is scientific research and experimental development credits for our AI work. So I always say AI is not new to us, although everyone's talking about it recently. But we've deployed that as well, because one of the biggest pain points in the success of using Denteza is when you have 40, 50 consultations coming in and your front desk isn't responding to them. It's a waste of money. Now, so what we figured out was, for the right practices, we can have the first level of interaction with the practice be AI, and it really works well. We have a lot of numbers and metrics on that. So that can book the consultation, or it could just book the callback, or it can answer questions, right? So there's a few things that it can do before your treatment coordinator or your front desk gets back to the gets a prospective patient. So that really has helped a great deal in moving the process along to getting them to come in for a consultation.
That's amazing, Dwight. I mean, you would just pretty much went over the flow that you give value to the practices that work with you. Now, my first question is, let's say you start working with a new practice tomorrow, either out of Canada or US, or based on our first conversation, remember you said like you are active in 6 different countries.
Yeah, we've been in 6 countries.
How would you figure out how well they are doing in terms of marketing? Would you look at their public profiles, like on Google, to see how many reviews they're getting from their patients? What is the rating? How would you measure that?
Well, what we do is, when we reach out to a prospective practice, or they reach out to us, one of the things we want to see is, have they done advertising before? And I'll tell you, one of the things that we realize is that we don't want to do two sales, which is try and convince them that they should advertise and that they should rely on us to help them grow their practice. We want to reach the right avatar where they've spent money on advertising. It might not have been successful, but they know the value of the multiplier of investing in their marketing. And so the kind of clients we talk to are further down the road, where they've spent money on advertising, good or bad, and they're looking for something specific like what we're doing to grow their top line revenue. So that's what we primarily are looking for. Those more established dental practices, they've got their operations running well. We don't make poor average practices better. We make good to great practices, even stand out even more than they do now.
Yeah, that's amazing. As far as, because the one thing that Masood mentioned is that you guys work in 6 different countries, and I'm sure each country that you go to has their own kind of different way that they do things. How do you guys kind of what is the challenge of that is like to figure out what do you have to do around the country that you're trying to, or the people that you're working in those countries? Has that been like?
Hasn't been too bad. There's some countries that are really, really sticky and specific on what you can say and not say. Singapore being the most particular one. You really have to, know what you're doing and how you say it specifically. Most times, the dentist in that market gives us great understanding of it, and then we can do some research. We know to avoid words like free and that kind of thing, which really can run afoul, even here in Canada. You got to be careful with that, with the mandates from the RDCSO and other agencies like down in the States. So we, that's one of the reasons why we've stuck to implant and cosmetic, because again, we can't be subject matter experts on everything. So we've really just focused on that and understanding the right words that not just keep you in line with the colleges that govern the particular state or province or country for that matter, but also the ones that will elicit a more positive response from patients who we can help.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
And Dwight,
Yes.
one question I had, like, there are so many dental clinics out there. And the other day I was just running around in Google Maps. I was just traveling from state to state. It was a fun travel. And I was seeing a lot of dental clinics. And
Yeah.
so many of them, I realized that they are doing very horrible in terms of Google Maps reviews. Some of the dental clinics, they didn't even have a website. Like you would click on the website and it would take you to a WordPress page that it was saying
Yeah.
this is an example of a homepage. And I was very much surprised. Is if you were to build a product that would basically automate the process of pretty much analyzing whether a dental practice is doing good in marketing or not, how would you engineer that? Like, would you go based on their public profiles, like on Google, on Yelp, and how would you pretty much design the algorithm behind it?
Yeah, we have our Denteza patient relationship manager can do that. Our dev team would be the ones that really know the science behind it. But you can quickly assess based on their social media and their voice out there. We have that kind of technology to measure the voice. So one of the things that our company does is, even though we're heavily focused on implant and cosmetic, we know that when we get into a practice or a dental network or a DSO, once they see what we do there, they want us to help them as we have those conversations about their SEO, their website, their social media, those kinds of things. So we do handle that as well. And to that end, our platform can very quickly run a report and show someone exactly what, how their share of voice is, and produce a report. So that is something that we can do. So if anyone is looking for that kind of thing, then they can come to our company, and we can even start at that point, and it might even end at that point. We do have clients that don't do the implant and cosmetic. There's very few, but they lean on us for that, helping them with their share of voice in the areas of social media and their Google reviews.
That's amazing. So besides, the topic that we've been talking about what you guys do at Denteza, let's say tomorrow you were going to take an exit from Denteza. What other areas in dentistry would you see that are many very big problems that you would focus on besides the portion that you're solving right now at your company?
Yeah, well, yeah. If we were in the process of exiting from what we're doing now, one of the things that seems to be a growing opportunity is um, helping dentists. Well, staffing is a big issue. I saw a report where 23% of dentists say the number one issue is staffing. One of the things that isn't a big ticket item like our implant and cosmetic work, we can install an AI receptionist, and ours is called Denteza AI Aggie. We can install that in any practice, and for about $14 a day, help alleviate the pressure that's on your front desk. So when someone's taking a call from a patient and a call comes in, Aggie can handle that. And you can name her whatever you want. Our dev team will configure that for you. But that really helps the front desk, because for that amount of money to not miss a call, it takes one patient in a year, and you've covered the cost of that AI receptionist. So it's a massive opportunity. It's only going to move further into the dentistry stream. It's at the front desk with receptionists, but there's a lot of other areas that can be leveraged with AI technologies. We would really talk about that staffing issue and, okay, what can we do to help alleviate some of the shortfall?
And in terms of AI automation that you mentioned, because I'm very much familiar, like I've been in the AI space for the last 5 years or so, and in the last 3 years of it, like I've been focused very much on in the dental space. What other areas would you think can be automated to help the dental practices? Because in terms of like a voice AI receptionist that like take care of the inbound calls, that's a great value, and there are so many companies right now that they are doing it. But
There's
what
lots.
other areas do you think that you can focus on, and it's a harder problem to build around, but it would be a great value?
Well, I'll start with the AI component, and then I'll move on to another area. One of the things dentists have is a big chart of potential patients. Maybe someone filled out a form, or they have existing patients that haven't been out there. And patient re-engagement is a really big thing. We're seeing some of the numbers where if you can take your existing patient list, run it through the AI platform, have them reach out to these patients, you can help more patients. And that doesn't really cost you anything, because your AI setup is already in place. So that's a big one to consider. As far as the other areas, as far as the other area, there's a big opportunity in orthodontics. We haven't really touched on it, but we're getting some inquiries from the orthodontic industry for what we're doing. So we're right now in the process of taking our Denteza platform, implant cosmetic, moving it into orthodontics, so that those practices and those manufacturers that are looking to place more of their aligners into dental practices, leveraging that. And we're working with them right now. Actually, my business partner is going to be in Toronto tomorrow and Friday, to talk to some of the bigger global manufacturers about that. So that's another opportunity, another growth area that our platform can help with in the dental space.
Yeah, totally. That's amazing. And where do you want to see your platform, Denteza, in 5 years? Like, where are you guys gonna be?
I think within 5 years, not at 5 years, it's gonna, I think every business should be built with the potential to be sold. Doesn't mean you sell it, but it should be prepared for that. And that's where we're at after 10 years. We've never focused on just revenue. We've focused primarily on getting our system down so that we own most of the company, and we do own most of the company. So we're right now at a position where we're starting to talk to some DSOs, some dental manufacturers, that kind of thing, those kinds of companies, about does our company work within their company to help them grow their revenue. So that's one of the things that we're talking about. We're looking at, within the next few years, just having that kind of opportunity where our technology is put inside either a dental manufacturer, a DSO, or a big multi-location operation.
Wow, that's amazing. And how do you, the one thing I wanted to ask about your platform, because as a dentist, because a lot of the dentists is like they're focused on the ROI, they focus on the data, they focus on that. How do you guys really help them see the data and be forefront of that data to show them that what you guys really do works when it comes to their numbers?
Yeah, we have in our dashboard, we have all the metrics. So what we do is we pull in all of our advertising data. We have all of our the amount of leads. We see our conversion rates, because our back end CRM will show people who've requested a free guide, people who've booked a consultation request, people who've made a phone call in, they've booked an appointment, they've accepted an appointment, and all that data can be shown in the back end of our dashboard. So you can see not only how much you've spent, but how much revenue you've booked. So we have that data right there in the back end dashboard, so that they can see that. And we have some pretty specific numbers. Our goal is to increase your revenue of your practice 18 to 26% within 12 months. the ROI on your investment should be 7 times. What the factor that really makes a big difference with that is how good the front desk is able to take those opportunities, those 35 to 50 opportunities a month, and get back to them. Again, having the AI receptionist has really helped with that. We really show some real specific numbers where people can understand, okay, well, if I'm doing $1.5 million or $2 million a year as a practice and I can grow 18%, they can see those numbers and they know that whatever they're investing as far as the advertising and what we charge, that they're going to see a 7 times ROI. Those are kind of the metrics and the goalposts that we want to hit with. So they have a really specific idea of what they're looking at when they get involved with us.
That's amazing. And is the data that you guys have as far as with the practices, are you guys using, for example, if a patient calls the AI, do you guys have a way to be able to like connect that to their PMS system so that way you're able to like kind of link up the information and everything else like that? Or does the patient have to individually call in and figure all that part out? I just want to know how the AI is helping you guys with that, or if it is or it's not.
No, our system is set up so that when the AI agent does reach out to the patient, it does take that data and put it into our Denteza. We call it a patient relationship manager. Now, the bridge from our patient relationship manager to whatever the dental practice is using, there's 2 ways to do it: manual, not very efficient, using an API, which you can do to get into your EagleSoft or your Dentrix or whatever software you're using. We can do that. We're HIPAA and PIPEDA compliant, so we don't have any issue with that kind of thing. The one thing we found is that every practice is different. One of the things we realized with the AI agents is every company is using a different phone system, different VoIP system. So we have to get in there and fiddle around with that and, make sure that however their call trees are working, end of day, what do they want to have happen? That's all customized. And so we're not really about just selling an AI receptionist. There's really not a big business case to do that. And that might become commoditized. But when you integrate that within our Denteza patient relationship manager, it becomes a really powerful platform to use.
That is amazing. Does other countries, because you work with like 6 different countries, does other countries very similar with the state for US and Canada that they have to follow the similar HIPAA guidance and then things, kind of the laws changes on that?
Most countries have something that really relies on that you have to adhere to. As I said, Singapore is extremely stringent on that. You can't vary at all. And the other thing that happens is because Singapore is a much more condensed nation, everyone kind of knows everyone in the dental industry, so everyone's watching everyone. And if your competition sees that you're out of bounds, they'll let the regulating body know. We've had that kind of situation happen, so that's just the way it is over there.
So they're essentially snitching on one another, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
In our word, that's what they call it. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that even in the US, some of the states, even with the advertising, changes the state by state, even with the wording. Is that kind of correct?
But yeah, there's no, yeah, the regulating college for each state has jurisdiction. So it's not a national, it's 50 different states, 50 different colleges that oversee the regulation of your advertising and how you can operate your practice. It's really state driven there. I mean, in Canada, it's province driven too. There's some national realities, but really it's by state in the States and it's by province up here in Canada.
Wow. In the US, what's the hardest state to do marketing in?
The hardest state?
Are there any?
I don't know. We haven't been in every state. I can tell
I
you
got you.
the hotbeds of dentistry as far as what's happening with the consolidation of practices, Florida, Texas, California, the big states are they're all very active as far as the consolidation of the DSOs.
That's amazing. So Dwight, the final question I want to ask you is with the AI, I mean, as you know, Masood is in the AI field, and I'm sure, where do you see the AI going to take the dentistry from here till the next few years? What is AI going to do for dentistry? And how is
I
it going
think
to
it's
help improve the patient experience?
Well, I think it's, I talk about a digital doorway. And what I mean by that is the dentist spends a lot of money building up their practice, their staff, putting in their building, their operatories. But the first interaction a patient has with a dentist isn't those physical things, it's their digital reality. So AI can help with a digital doorway. And what I mean by that is, again, when you call the office, someone's there to answer. Someone's there to book your call. Someone's there to, even as you interact with their website, you can customize the messaging that they see based on what they're looking for. That's something that AI can help with. When it comes to the back end of a dental practice, that's not my area of expertise because that has to do with lab equipment, technicians, that kind of thing. But there are inroads happening there as well, where AI is going to be able to help a dentist from the digital doorway to the back end operations.
Well, Mr. Dwight, that's all amazing information, man. I was just looking up your website as you were talking. I'm like, man, it's fascinating what you guys are doing. That's amazing stuff because I think we have talked about, me and Master, we're talking about this. Is like dentistry is there's a lot of consulting. We do this, we do that, but when you actually see the companies that do the work and they build a platform around it and they have all the data, that's super fascinating with what you guys are doing. So, and good on
Yeah,
you guys. Mr. Dwight, I really want to say thank you so much for taking the time and joining us, man. This conversation has been super fascinating for us. I
great.
appreciate the introduction that Master did. It's amazing that you gave us your time. We will put all your information on our YouTube channel description. Mr. Dwight, what's the
Excellent.
best way for people to find you if they need to?
If people want to find us, they just go to denteza.com. We have a phone number that you can reach us out. If you want to book a strategy session, you can do that as well. But it's just go to our website, denteza.com.
That's amazing. Well, Mr. Dwight, thank you so much for everything. I'll put for our
Thank you.
audience, I'll put Mr. Dwight information on there. I'll put their website. Please reach out to them if you need any help in their specialty. Thank you so much, Mr. Dwight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
guys. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Masood. Take
Yes,
care.
sir. Bye-bye.